James Turner for the untouchable true school sports. Let's go, baby. Bow!
Be careful what you wish for because it can become a reality.
Yeah. The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. All right, so really interesting stuff going on in the heavyweight division, and it involves one of the most interesting fighters in the division right now, a guy that I'm having a fun time talking about his career because he really is, he looks like he might actually be everything they say he is. I still have some skepticism of this fighter, and this fight I'm talking about is obviously Moses Itauma, the young heavyweight sensation from the UK. So far, he's passed every test with flying colors, and he's looking the part. There's been a lot of talk about what he'll do next, because he's at that point now where he's like a top 15 fighter, but he's so young, so you can't take your time with him. But it's just like how aggressive can the matchmakers be with a guy like Moses Itauma? There's been talk about him maybe fighting Kubrat Pulev for the WBA regular title, which I think makes a lot of sense. And then there's been talk about even him fighting a guy like Filip Hrgovic, who I think is, one of the most experienced fighters in the division. I still think he's one of the better heavyweights out there, even with the loss to Dubois. And I just think that's a step too far for Moses, like right now in his development. But Moses is called for that fight, right? And it's funny because Moses is 20. Is he 20 years old? And he's got fighters calling him out. And one of the fighters that called him out, I think this fight makes a lot of sense. And I want to see this fight. And I'm going to campaign for this fight right here in this video. So the former IBF heavyweight champion and veteran of the sport, hard puncher, game fighter, always, for the most part, gives it his best. Charles Martin, he's called out Moses Itauma. He wants that fight. And Charles Martin's he's had a very interesting career because he won the title for the IBF in very unceremonious fashion when he fought Vyacheslav Glazkov. And Glazkov fell on his own leg and got injured, and Martin won on a technicality. Then he pretty much sold his belt to a young Anthony Joshua and got done up in 2 rounds. And then it's funny, right? Because when he was champion, he was fighting Joshua. I didn't really think Charles Martin was that good. But I think in the years since, as he's matured, he's actually gotten better as a heavyweight. Now, is Martin a world beater? Is he a top upper echelon heavyweight? No. But I think he's a good fight now for Moses' development. And he's been there with a lot of top guys. He's been there with Anthony Joshua, been in there with Luis Ortiz, gave him a good fight. Been in there with Jared Anderson and it really exposed Jared Anderson before Martin McCauley did. He's been there with Gerald Washington. I think he beat him. He's beat some decent heavyweights as well. I think this is a really good fight for Moses. It's a fight that he should win. It's a fight, but it's also a fight with a guy who has some credibility because of who he's fought and some of the guys he's beaten and the fact that he did hold a title at one point. And he can punch. Like Charles Martin said that, it's easy to look good when there's no punches coming back at you, but when you got a guy who can punch back at you with some real bricks in his hand, how do you respond? And I think he's making a fair point. A lot of these fighters, they get hit by Moses and they shut up and they don't want no smoke. And I think Charles Martin wouldn't be like that. I feel like if Charles Martin, even if he gets knocked out, he's gonna go in there and he's gonna throw punches with bad intentions to try to knock this kid out. And he's got a lot of experience, so I think he would be able to maybe get him some fits. I think ultimately he would still lose because I think there's such a clear gap in speed and his defense is leaky. So I think Moses would figure him out. But I think this could be the best fight for Moses to date. He could get the most challenges of anybody that Moses has fought to date. So that's what really intrigues it for me. And who knows, man? We've never really seen Moses properly hit upside his head. So if Martin gets his timing down and lands that big left hand of his, maybe we learn something new about Moses. Maybe Moses gets dropped. Maybe Moses gets buckled. And maybe we start to see that Moses doesn't have a great chin. I feel like Charles Martin can test the chin of Moses Itauma because he has that kind of power. He has that kind of experience. He has that kind of know-how. And that's the intrigue of it for me. And so if he doesn't fight Pulev next for that WBA regular title, I would say that this is probably the number 2 fight on the list because of Martin, because of what he brings to the table, because of his experience. And I think I would look at it as a gradual step up from Dempsey McKean. Dempsey McKean gave Filip Hrgovic a good fight. He was ranked at one point in time. But Dempsey McKean never accomplished what Charles Martin accomplished. And Dempsey McKean is not the puncher that Charles Martin is. So this, to me, is a slight step up in competition for him. And yeah, Charles Martin is confident that he knocks out this 20-year-old, and he's confident that he gets him out of there. So this is a chance for Moses Itauma to compare himself to some other heavyweights that have fought Charles Martin, right? And this is a chance for Moses Itauma to maybe even get more traction in the States, because, I mean, Charles Martin's not a big name, but he's an American heavyweight. People know who he is because he's been in so many notable fights against big names. And this would be a very intriguing fight. So I'm all for it. I'm calling for the fight. I'm a Charles Martin fan because I feel like Charles Martin's story in boxing, it's actually not getting the appreciation it deserves, because Charles Martin was a head case. Like when he won the title against Anthony Joshua, he was a head case. You know, he got a bunch of money. He bought like a big he bought like a nice car. He crashed his car. He had all these crazy rants on social media where you could tell he was mentally unstable. But since that time, he's matured into like a really stable individual. He's not really getting in trouble like that anymore for the wrong reasons. He developed and got better as a fighter. He had some good wins at a fringe contender level in boxing. And I feel like he matured into a solid veteran heavyweight fighter. And I respect Charles Martin because he's always fought top competition. He's always he's gotten better over the years. And I think he's actually better now than when he was champion, which is kind of crazy because of, you know, you wouldn't think a fighter would be better, almost 10 years after being champion, but that's the case for him. So I respect him, and I think it's a good fight for Moses. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about Moses versus Charles Martin? Leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this, make sure you click right over here.